How's it going, guys? Today I'm going to answer a bunch of questions that you all asked me on my Facebook. If you didn't know I had a Facebook, you can click the link right here or in the description down below to go like it, or you could just not do that and it'll be okay. So, just jumping right into it, I have a lot of statistics homework tonight, so I'm going to answer a whole bunch of questions so I can blow it off for a while. A lot of these people have really foreign last names, but I'm just going to pronounce them anyway, and you guys can make fun of my ignorance. It'll be good. First question, Scott Browning asks, favorite rash ointment? And that really depends, are we talking about the kind of rash ointment you put in your rashes, or the type that you eat? Joseph Fillmore asks, pretzels or pasta? And I'm going to say pasta because it's actually a meal. You can eat a lot of it, you know what I mean? Cody Hayward asks, what do you think of all the other Revive skaters? Favorite, with an OU because he's probably from Australia. Most talented, most creative out of all of them. I hate to have to name names, but Thomas is probably one of the most creative ones. The stuff that he comes up with, to do out of a switchboard slide and stuff, blows my mind. Marco Anzo Anik asks, do you ever watch VX videos and want your videos to look like that? I'm going to have to say not at all. VX is nice in short little increments from time to time, but if you're going to watch a lot of YouTube videos, it's nice to have clear quality. SD just doesn't cut it for me. Zach Walters asks, what's the coolest spot you've ever shredded? Shredding. I'm not sure I've ever shredded before, but Baldy Banks is one of the coolest spots I've skated. Paul Corkin asks, what were you thinking when you knocked your teeth out? Okay, this is a funny story. The second I smashed my face in the ground, I knew the camera was rolling, so I'm like, alright, this is going to be a great YouTube video. What can I do to make this better? And, that's when I asked to keep the camera rolling and so on and so on. Quan Momo. John Olivsgaard, I'm not even going to try and pronounce the rest of his name. He's asking me what I do when I'm not skating. Right now my life is pretty much skateboarding, photography, YouTube, and homework. And eating, I guess. Yeah, lots of eating. Dobby Bugarts, and I know I just said that incredibly wrong, I'm sorry. He's asking me, are you working on a new part? Yes, I am working on a new part, and I have one clip so far. And it's not even that good. Bashan Bering Vezum asks, will you answer? Connor Hill asks, would you come to Australia? Yeah, I would. Matthew Cram asks, what's your favorite kind of pasta? I'm going to have to say either farfel or a stuffed pasta like tortellini or ravioli. Connor Fitzgerald asks, what was your reaction to being on Revive? When I found out about Revive, it hadn't actually been released to the public yet. It was still more of an idea, but I was really stoked to get my first sponsor, and I believed in what Andy was doing, so it's been awesome since. River Green asks, what's your typical warm-up if you have one before you skate a park? I'll usually go really fast and back 180 up a euro. Cameron Forrester asks, what's one indie group you would recommend to those who have not likely heard of them already? Alright, let me check my iTunes real quick. Look up Crystal Fighters and Steel Train, and let me know what you think in the comments down below. Parker Ammon asks, last time you were skating and didn't do a Wally? It's funny you should ask because I love doing Wallies and everything, but they scrape up your tail really bad, so I've been actively trying not to do them too much for the sake of preserving my boards. But usually I end up doing a Wally or two every session, so I can't tell you the last time. Brian Reyes asks, what was the trick that took you the longest, and what was the trick that took you the shortest to get in Live Skate Die? I'm going to say that nose slide big spin line took the longest. I'd say it took a good 2 hours. And shortest, the line with the nollie half cab flip and the alley-oop front big. I got that pretty fast. I had to go back a second day because it got dark, but I got it in 2 tries that day. Josh Lavender asks, what are you allergic to? And I picked this question not because I have an interesting answer, but more just because I think it's interesting that Josh Lavender wants to know what I'm allergic to. So, hey Josh Lavender, hope you're having a good day. John Draper asks, can you follow me on Instagram, @JohnDSkating? Nah. Dale Jacobs asks, why is your taste in music so bad? How do you even answer a question like that? I'm not entirely sure. Sorry, Dale Jacobs, I apologize. Min Nguyen asks, what's your dream sponsor besides Revive? I'm going to say Schneider of Hanover for the pretzels, or maybe Reynolds Wrap because, tinfoil is pretty useful for sandwiches. Marco Vidovic asks, if someone walked up to you and said you have to land a front foot possible in one try or you will die, what would you do? First of all, I'd like to congratulate Marco on, the creativity of that question. I have this thing where I can usually land the first front foot impossible of the day, but I can never do them after that, so, I'd like to think that I wouldn't die if I were put in that situation, but, who knows, and, death is inevitable. So, on that note, thank you guys for watching. Just remember, you're going to die one day. So in the meantime, watch all my YouTube videos. Talk to you later, guys.